Hey everyone, it's the Redmen Podcast. We are live on YouTube right now, so you can use the live comments if you want to interact with us throughout the show. Other than that, we are, of course, on all kinds of podcasting apps. If you want to leave a 5-star review for us, that would be absolutely awesome. I'm Paul Machin, Steve Hawk, Chris Pajak joined us for this one. I feel like this fucking thing, this is very much a visual joke. Does this get bigger every week? Like this red thing? At some point, we're going to be doing this show over like the top 2 inches of the fucking screen. Right, sounds. Anyway, look, there's been no Liverpool games apart from there's been some international football apparently, and also we're looking down the battle of the season running. So we're going to have a little look around that, look ahead to Watford as well, and chat through some general bullshit, because why not? Kickoff question comes from Del H7, who's one of our Club Legend subscribers.
It's a good question.
Plus. If Klopp wasn't available, if you could bring a manager from the past to get us through to the end of the season, who would it be? Who would it be? Chris Pajak.
Does it have to be a Liverpool manager?
Is it Alex Ferguson?
Yeah. No, not at all. It's Bob Paisley.
Okay.
So my reasoning behind it is, like, Shank built the foundations. But
Shank?
Shankly.
You and Bill are besties, me and mate Shank, and I Shank.
And his mate Big Foo.
It sounds like a prison yard.
Built the foundations and Bob took it on. And
Shank
I feel like
Bob.
Klopp is...
Shankle made his
I feel like Jurgs has built the foundations. Jurg has built the foundations, and Bob is ready to just drive forwards for the trophies.
Yeah, I'm still thinking of Bill Shankly in a prison, just as Shank, like the tough guy you go to get shit done, but he's got a heart of gold.
Yeah. If you need a pack of smokes, smoking it in for you.
Yeah. I think it needs to be some. Can I take Pep Guardiola off Man City?
That's a great shout.
I
He's
will
not
take
a past manager though.
Okay, Barcelona's Pep Guardiola, and put him against this current one, and then see how mega mind each other, and eventually something might happen.
What if he does, peps himself for us?
Yeah, but then
and then Tuchel steals the league.
Yeah,
Pep both of their teams.
Both of them just fall apart in the Champions League. Yeah, that's the worry, isn't it? I would go Shankly, because I think the team is good enough. I think it almost picks itself and it plays itself now.
Someone to stand on the barricades and
just motivate everyone. Just give it the beans as well. Get the fans going. A couple of inspirational quotes. You could see Shank just going to the cop and just beating his chest. I'll go for Shank.
Yeah, they're both good shouts. I like the Shankly thing in so much as I agree in that, is that having someone there who just gets to bark, and you've got like the aura of respect or whatever. I nearly went Rafa just for the fume, because imagine Rafa was parachuted in and wins a quadruple as Liverpool, or a treble as Liverpool manager, and and all the Evertonians are just sat there, relegated, looking at their former manager, celebrating while being paraded around the streets of Liverpool. Agent Rafa, job 100% complete.
That's probably the right answer.
Cast them in bronze.
I mean, you can't book a weekend in Wales at the end of the season. It's booked up. Everton fans have booked that shit right up. I
was going to say, if Rafa was to win that with Liverpool, there wouldn't be a far enough place in Wales to get away from the celebration.
Anglesey would be chocker, like edges of Anglesey as far away.
Abigail, mate, fucking
as far away as you can get.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're live with us, you can leave your suggestions for which manager from the past you would bring us in to get us to the end of the season.
I've got a new kick-up question for next week. Liverpool managers with as prison names.
I think I've already submitted my answer.
Big Joe is one of them. Big Joe and Shank, they like man in the courtyard.
Oh, Fagan's got a pretty historically rough name in general.
Like Graham Souness, you can't be Graham. You can't be Graham in prison. like you need something.
Suey doesn't sound super bad either.
There's no in the comments. Liverpool managers as prison nicknames.
Or prison weapons. Oh, Chris has won again.
I tell you what, mate, I'm fucking one step ahead of you, aren't I? Like, you know what I mean? Me old pal Shank.
Absolutely. Right, sounds. Yeah, we're going to come on to do running predictions. We're going to talk a little bit about what's been going on over the international break and what have you in a second. We have had a member comment from Ashley Frith here on YouTube saying, love the Legends predictions for our trophy collection this season. Let's get all four. Great work as always, guys. YNWA. Thank you so much, Ashley. If you haven't checked that video out, then do. It's on the YouTube channel right now. But we want to talk about our sponsor for this week, for last week and the week before. It's all going swimmingly with Who Knows Wins. The incredible prediction game. That is rightfully sponsoring the podcast at the moment. We'll have a little look at the results in a second. How are we all feeling? It was a weird. Tom just
So yeah, Tom just
looked at it and went, international games.
Not for me.
Not
for me. No,
Tom,
thank you.
Tom has a moral obligation to do any analysis on international football, so he just opted out, I think, of this one.
So yeah, of the it was 9 games because one of the games was just postponed. So coming on top of the leaderboard this week on alphabetical order is Mr. Chris Pajak, followed by Si, followed by Steve, and then we've got a 3 of us on 5 of Charlie, Ross, and myself.
Not on alphabetical
order. Yeah, I've been
stitched.
I've been stitched there. Yeah,
I get the win. I'll take that.
You get the win. Yeah, absolutely.
Sure, it's a joint. No,
I'm top.
That's okay. That's fine.
Yeah,
small wins.
Yeah, absolutely.
Should we bring up the games for this week? We're still waiting on the hat. We're still waiting on the losers.
Yeah, Reece messaged me the other day. The hat is apparently en route. I don't know where it's coming from, but
it's not being couriered, is it?
You might be hand delivering it at some point. Yeah, it's making its way. I think it's like the Olympic torch. It's just having like a tour of the city before it gets here, like random stop. So yeah, I think this week.
They probably should have bought a hat, branded it, and posted it to us. I think that would have been the best way to do it, rather than like make the hat from scratch and hand deliver it.
Which is probably what. Yeah, it's being hand stitched on
right
the train
now.
Right now. Well, yeah.
I hope it's like a.
It better be a good fucking hat.
I hope it's like Crocodile Dundee's hat. That's what I want it to be.
What do you want, like, but added with like the corks and stuff, maybe?
Just yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Like L's, just L's.
L's.
Yeah. I thought last week was hard because international friendlies are ridiculous. By the way, I think quite a few people got 9 out of 9, so fair play to them. By the way, anyone who predicted that Ireland were going to draw with Belgium, shout, you deserve your dose.
I thought England-Switzerland, I said this last week, was a nailed-on draw because that's how England tend to play in those friendly games. Everyone goes, oh, they're going to batter these. And as it turned out, they very nearly actually lost it, didn't they? Until I think they turned it round. They won 2-1. I know they won 2-1.
Switzerland leading the game.
Switzerland
that's close enough to nearly lost.
So, yeah, that's enough detail. Then I could have just stopped talking, really, and we'd have been fine on that.
Shaqiri got man of the match, I believe.
Okay, cool. Brilliant.
It might not be true.
I've got no analysis on this game of football whatsoever.
I didn't know it happened until...
Yeah, I was going to make a joke about his hair, but you've got to be careful these days. It's
actually so nice to see.
That'll get you slapped these days. Yeah, right. Oh yeah. So this week's games, I actually think there's Premier League football back for a start, which is good for us. Well, maybe I say this.
Two sides that lose a lot.
Brighton versus Norwich, like all the best predicting that one. Speaking of holding the L's, look at all the L's on Brighton versus Norwich. So yeah, Brighton, Norwich, Burnley, Man City, then go to the Championship for Cardiff.
Would any of you have the bottle to back a result that you want to happen?
Yeah, I'm back and draw Burnley, Man City.
No.
Okay.
I
like you. I like that.
I like you. I'm willing you to win. The Wales derby, is that what you call it? I don't know. It's horrendously.
The Wales derby.
What is it?
Cardiff.
South Wales derby. It's more South Wales derby.
Cardiff
Swansea. Yeah. Then
we play in the English League Welsh derby.
Yep.
Yeah.
Chelsea Brentford. We've got Leeds versus Southampton. That's going to be a tough one to predict. Peterborough versus Middlesbrough. QPR Fulham. Stoke Sheffield United. And then Wolves Villa. Oh, more. Man United v Leicester.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be a tough one to get 10 on in this week, if I'm honest. If you offered me 7 now, I'd take 7.
Okay.
I'd take a nice 7.
Have you ever gotten?
I've got 7
higher,
once.
have you ever had higher than 7?
I'll bite your hand off for 7.
Have you ever had higher than 7.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean I'm happy with what I've had. Yeah, I think I've had 7s.
Yeah.
Maybe I can't remember.
I've had 7 once last week, I think.
Yeah.
But I think 7. I think 7 might win you some dough.
That's like saying you'd want
The
someone
thing
who was
is,
in.
no. I think the thing with my 7 is a rising tide floated all boats. The games were dead easy and really lopsided. That's why I got 7, and everyone got 7, and I got no money.
I think that'll be a
7's won money.
I think 7 will on that because I think United Leicester. Look, you can look at the percentage, like 24 are going for Leicester, which is quite high. Wolves Villa, it's 41 going for Wolves and 38 for Villa. Yeah. People are very. There are a lot of close split games there.
I am just a big fan of you making the case for settling for something that's better than pretty much anything you've ever had.
Yeah, but
that's fine. That's fine. No, I appreciate it. That's an elite mentality.
I was going to say, as an employee of yours, you should be happy that I don't settle for what I think's mediocrity. I think 7's a great score this week.
Okay, cool. Great.
Yeah.
Just to make the point on this, obviously you can download the app using the link in the description underneath or alongside or whatever, but you don't actually have to get all 10 right, which is the best part of the game. It's not like when you put an acca on and you're crossing your fingers and toes and then one result can ruin the whole thing for you. It's down to how everyone else sort of performs or doesn't perform. So, yeah, your instinct can actually get you into a position where 7 could be a brilliant
If the hat arrives this week, is Tom wearing it?
Well, everyone who's
at
lost.
this point, I think everyone's lost at least. Have you lost?
We'll have to do like an Instagram montage or whatever.
Well, you know on TikTok when you put your hand in front of the camera and pull it away, we'll do that. So it's hand in front and then it's me wearing a hat and I'll put my hand out.
And then Chris can be.
You can be doing the dad dance in the background,
yeah.
Do you know any TikTok dances?
Yeah, I know all of them.
Yeah.
Chris did himself a crash course on TikTok the week. It was like one of those random. Does anyone know what the login is for TikTok? I was like, go ahead, Chris.
You did WhatsApp and say what's the login for our TikTok account. I was desperate to see what you were going to do with it.
Yeah,
Chris doing the floss. Chris doing the floss.
Right, Sad, yeah. As you say,
that,
do be gamble aware, of course. And if you're not into that kind of thing, then please don't. But if you're into that kind of thing and you fancy a little bit of a fun, you want to play along with us and see where we rank in the league because we're highlighted now. So our successes and failures are duly noted in every league table.
No, we are highlighted in blue at the bottom, and generally at the bottom as well. By the way,
are you doing an example of this here?
It could be there if size.
There's me.
There we go. There's all of us in blue. We finished above Robbie. Unlucky. Robbie got 4.
In your face, whoever does Robbie's picks for him. Right, sounds. Right, cool. Yeah, get involved. Links in the description underneath. It's a good fun. We're having a good time.
Only if you're 18. If you're not 18, don't bother.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're not allowed.
Don't just sack it. But if you're over and you're into that kind of thing, get involved with us. Right. It's been an international break.
We referenced this, yeah.
Yeah, it was Liverpool legends, Barcelona legends. Chris, you decided to have a full weekend off, which I'm sure was absolutely splendid.
Completely swerved it. It was fantastic.
I got to the AXA and see it for the first time, and it was. I tell you what, like you see the players talk around it, and Klopp's talked around it, and all that kind of stuff. And I know we have this. Whenever Liverpool have had a couple of bad results and everyone just decides they hate the owners again, like the whole idea of Liverpool paying for the training facilities, like, oh, and what? When you go and see it, like, I mean, I've been in Melwood, I'm fortunate to be in Melwood a few times, I've been around it, and it's Melwood's cool, I love Melwood. By comparison to nothing, I always thought Melwood was really impressive until I walked in the doors of the AXA.
What's the difference between Kirby and the AXA as Kirby as it was?
So that's still there
next door.
Yeah, I think that's just the under 18s and below. Effectively, just use the old academy building. But like you effectively
so what's the
nowhere
difference
near
though? When you walk in,
you go nowhere near that. That's like it might as well be on a different.
There. We've all been there.
Yeah.
What like when you walk in, Kirby's just it feels like offices almost. When you walk through,
it feels
that
like a posh
door,
hotel.
You know what I mean? Whereas Melwood had that big opening, you walk through the glass.
It's well more Melwoody than it, but you've got the giant glass sort of front. We to be fair, we only went through the under 23s entrance rather than the players' entrance. Or what their entrance looks like, I've got no idea. I imagine it's gold plated.
Where did we go the other day?
That was under 23s, yeah.
Do they have like a Batman style underground car park that you have to get through a bush nearby?
No, they've got a manhandle in your lateral flow tests.
It's not quite as cool as I was picturing it. To be honest with you.
But either way, absolutely immense, and just like one of those things where you can see how, and obviously Jurgen's influence on it, of they've created a place where you just want to be. So there's loads of like, it sounds stupid, but like there's loads of like, there's like outdoor decking areas with like chairs and barbecues and heaters, and the idea is like you'd want to hang out there.
Is it like a modern day version of where the foot soldiers hung out in the first Turtles film?
What?
You know the foot soldiers where their hideout was, and it was a bit like there was pool tables and it was a bit crazy housey and all that type of stuff, but more sports led.
It's a bit more like if you were allowed to do push-ups, it's easy.
Okay, yeah,
it's like very glass, very like piney wood stuff. Like you
do they have like swing seats?
It's very like Mediterranean restaurant chic.
The best part is you've got automatic lawnmowers just going around the place like little robots.
My mate's got one of them.
They're it's a little bit droney. It's a bit like that could turn on me and kill me because you're just walking along and next minute there's like a little lawnmower just nodding.
Do they have like a special Robot Wars track for the lawnmowers to compete to see who is King Dinger lawnmower?
Almost certainly.
Good.
Yeah.
Because they feel like they would have missed an opportunity if they'd not got that.
But it was one of those points where you walk around there, it's just like robot lawnmowers and you're just like...
Can you stand on them?
I mean, you could.
Ooh.
What do you think's going to happen, though?
You cut the grass closer to the surface.
I mean, yeah. If you was to dig to, like, Australia, you just stand on one.
I tried to do that once from my mum and dad's greenhouse and failed.
Wow. Dig to Australia?
Yeah.
Where did you get to, like?
2 foot under the lawn.
Honestly,
yeah.
2 feet?
Yeah. I was. Let me finish. I was there for 3 hours.
Okay.
Okay,
you were 2 foot close. Listen, you were 2 foot closer to Australia than you probably were 3 hours earlier.
It's true.
I mean, you could have walked
I was
maybe closer.
so disappointed. And yeah, I was talking about this at the weekend with Kat because I was like, I bet my mum and dad just fucking love that because I was just out of their air for like 3 hours digging and they were like, fucking...
Where's Christopher? Digging to Australia, get in!
Yeah. Who filled it? Is this like one of those like gangster style situations where you're effectively digging your own grave?
I feel like I did, but I didn't end up there.
Shovel on the back of the head when you got down there.
Yeah, well done. Good building. Yeah, no, really impressive. What was mad about it was
Thanks, Paul.
We went to spoke to some of the legends on at training on the Friday. They've never been there before, and that's one of those really weird things. Like I got to see it before lads who've like won European Cups for Liverpool. So like we were stood on this balcony and they kept walking out and going, oh, like breathtaking when they get to the pitch. Like Jamie Carragher was saying, he's gone down because he'd not been there before. It's like you don't really think about that, do you? About the impact of the last 2 years and how disassociated everyone's been from. That has been on ultra mega lockdown.
Do you reckon Jamie's got like envy, like because he bought Melwood? Do you reckon like house envy when you buy the wrong house and then you turn up and oh for fuck's sake, like the neighbours have done me in again.
It's like when you buy a new car and then your mate gets a better deal on a better one and you go, oh yeah.
The actions, you know what's amazing? I'm not saying they're really boring. Like the pitches are like it's like immaculate. Like obviously they've tried to get them as close to Anfield as they can. Obviously Jürgen has mentioned about that. And it's unreal. It's absolutely unreal.
One thing I loved just briefly about the Legends game because it was a Legends game. So when I referenced this because you remember when we went to the was it the '86 Cup final replay one, and it was the dullest game of football I've ever watched in our life. They do this every year because the sun's always shining, so you get lulled into this notion that it's a summer day. So you'll more often not go in t-shirt and shorts, but it also kicks off at 3 and finishes at 5, which is at the time where in spring it just stops, it immediately goes back to being winter again. So you're freezing cold, the sun's gone, and what you tend to find is a bunch of fellas who put all their effort into about 5-10 minutes of footy, and then the legs fall off, but they also realise that it matters. Nobody wants to embarrass themselves by that point, and we watched the biggest stalemate game of football played out writ large.
Sorry, are we talking about our five-a-side on a Thursday night, or are we talking about the Legends game here?
Yeah, same difference. Bunch of fellas past the prime who don't want to get hurt. That effectively.
We put everything into the first 5 minutes and then really don't want to lose.
But it was good. I must admit, I enjoyed it.
What was Stevie like? Come on.
The best player by a mile.
Yeah, genuinely. Like, you look at it and you're like, there's obviously Rivaldo was there, and there's a couple of players that I don't think have lost it, and Gerrard's one of them. Although you can see he's starting to physically, you can he's not as athletic. He's still
up front, and he wasn't tracking back Stevie, but You know, he looked the fittest. Daniel Agger looked just like Daniel Agger, which is ironic.
He looked like a lad who'd had his career cut short and was desperate for a game of Togger. Like, he come back on again. Yeah. Like I said to Jamie Carragher, has Daniel Agger ever come back onto a football field again in his life?
Not within 6 weeks.
He was buzzing for it. Carragher got dragged back on again because Phil Babb didn't last.
Phil Babb got injured, yeah.
But you know what?
Post?
Floor. Right. And then the physios run on and he started waving them away, go, no, I don't need you, I don't need you. So they start running off, and then he goes, actually, no. I had to wave them back on again, I do need you now.
What was Paddy like? Did he bring his wand?
Paddy Berger?
Yeah.
He's a very handsome man. He's a very handsome man, and he's a very good smelling man. Considering he'd played footy for a while, he'd obviously showered by the time I got to speak to him. Whatever cologne Paddy's wearing was sensational.
On point, like.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, no.
He had that Dilf salt and pepper beard as well. Yeah, really good.
I think Paddy struggled a little bit. There was a few, you know, the one who just didn't look like he'd stopped playing football, Luis Garcia. Like he lacked and he always lacked the engine, you know what I mean, to go beyond. But like he's so silky. Like he could just go and play a decent level of football because he's so good on the ball. A lot of them look like, you know, you're just a bit older and your touch is just a bit more awkward and everything. You know, he just genuinely looked like a world-class footballer. It was mad.
Another one who was very handsome.
He's a good-looking fella too, yeah, absolutely. So it was very impressive. It was a nice afternoon out and what have you, but ultimately, yeah, that like, I mean, to be fair, they all clearly got absolutely slaughtered the night before. So there's no way they were. I mean, oh god, yeah, absolutely, and again that night.
I thought on the night I thought he might have been hard.
They were all out having a meal the night before. So I mean, they do. That's just what football. We've experienced it firsthand with footballers. Chris has also experienced it when he's playing a game of footy at Anfield the next day as well.
Jose Enrique said to me, "We're going out for food tonight," and he just looked at me as if to say, "You know what I mean."
I'll have to fill my entire body full of ale. Right, so there was international football. Yeah, one of the highlights I think for this was seeing Jordan Henderson's total bafflement at Harry Maguire's rondo technique. Now, is it because I originally watched it and I was like, well, that's not that much, but it's like
it's meant to be one touch.
Yeah,
and he takes a touch.
Hendo's counting.
He takes two.
Hendo's counting because he's going like, what? And they're up to like 30 something, and the ball comes to Maguire and he just traps it, and he just goes.
It wasn't even a good touch. He controlled it with his left foot, and then he had to get his right foot involved, and then he looked up for De Gea to pass it back to, and he wasn't there.
You know how there's this notion in football, isn't there, when people decide that a football player is rubbish, and often this comes from like it can be a very small thing. So like, weird individuals can just decide a really good footballer's crap and then build up this agenda themselves. But it's writ large when it's like commonly accepted that someone's in bad form or someone's not good. Harry Maguire's having a tough old time in his football career at the moment.
England's social media guy does not care.
He does not need to be doing that to Harry Maguire. I mean, we often find
props.
Like, yeah.
Big shout out to England's social media guy for giving that the green light. Like, what a guy.
I honestly wonder if he didn't know what he was filming. Like they just felt, he's doing a rondo, isn't it? And then they've just gone, great, and we'll tweet that out without actually playing it back and listening to it or whatever, because...
And he knows what he's doing.
I can't, surely not.
Oh yeah, he's a Leicester fan.
I'd like to think the person did know and just, or like really thought it was really funny. Because the way Hendo looks at him is hilarious. It's like, what the fuck? He's like baffled, like he's never seen this before.
Yeah.
He's used to standing next to like Mo Salah and Mane in these rondos, and now he's standing next to this big fucking fridge head, and he's like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck's that?
Yeah. but they've done by the count like 30 odd.
It's a good rondo.
Yeah.
But that's why they got him involved at 30 odd.
No, but that's the point. Is that the first time Maguire's touched it? Is it the first time he's ever done a rondo? Like,
looks like it. Yeah. He's probably normally just heading the ball between him and Varane. That's it. That's all they do.
Because I watched the Legends rondos and they were a bit slower, but they understood how to do a rondo. And some of these are like well before rondos became a cool hipster footballing choice. You know what I mean? You just used to knock it back.
Harry doesn't understand a lot. Have you ever seen him try to pull the offside trap? He doesn't understand it.
See that milk in the fridge turned quicker than we had before.
Yeah.
What's the last time someone looked at you like Jordan Henderson just looked at Harry Maguire? Like we're just
so okay, I'll tell you what it was. It was when me and Chris were watching. It was either a Champions League game or a Euros game, and they brought up the running stats, and I said that's a bit mad how they've done that. Why have they done it in? They've done it in like kilometres, and you went, oh, would it be easier if they'd done it in miles? And I went, no, like the Champions League normally does it in metres. And then I just paused, and you just turned and looked at me, and I was like, oh yeah, like kilometres, like 1,000 meters. It was just me failing to move the decimal points. And Chris just looked at me like, yeah, it did not even change the metric of measurements. It was literally just the condensed version of it. But
It happens a lot, but the time that probably sticks out the most recently, and I can't believe I'm gonna say this on a show
On YouTube as well.
on YouTube, yeah.
Oh God.
We were at my mum and dad's,
Oh my God.
and someone passed me a photograph, and I pinch zoomed the fucking thing.
An actual
And I went, and everyone was looking at me like, no!
You had to zoom in on the phone on an actual photograph. You know what you should have done? Just brought it closer to your face.
that's astounding.
Yeah,
My
that was
little-
probably the worst.
My lad Lucas looked at me like that the other day because he was playing on Roblox and he went, Daddy, can you have a go? Because he couldn't do this. Like, yeah, Roblox is mad, by the way. It's like jumping around everywhere. And he goes, Dad, I can't get over this thing. He went, I've got like 2 lives left. Can you have a go or something? And I fell off once. And he just looked at me and I went, I understand now. I've got it again. And I just did it and I died straight away. And he just looked at me as if to say, like, you're my role model in life and you're an imbecile. Like, you can't make my little Roblox man jump one little step. And he looked at me like Jordan Henderson. Like, he was like, what's wrong with you? Like I'm a complete idiot. And maybe he's right.
It's going to happen to us all at some point. Like where
He's 7.
You're going to pick up a piece of technology and not be able to comprehend it.
I got the game.
Well,
I was unable to do
I
it.
made the point to Chris the day that I've discovered that I don't close apps on my phone anymore, and that's a very slippery slope. I'm gonna be having bigger text soon.
Yeah, I was
And
saying that all my
brightness
apps were
locked on 100%.
closed, so I got my phone out and there was tons open. I was like, oh, it's come to me as well.
You've got a flip case on your phone as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had that for a while.
That's
like,
quite daddish.
Yeah.
You'll have a
also-
stylus next. You got a stylus, haven't you?
Yes,
You
yeah.
got a stylus?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Styles on two phones. Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm going to start using my forefinger to type text messages out.
Again. That's how we used to do it. Well, we've moved on,
absolutely.
surely. You know what I mean?
Actually, I just realised it was someone mentioned it in the comments. I just wanted to talk about this. We saw the FA have decided to put buses on, but like
Enough for about...
a token gesture.
100 bucks. Is it 100? Is it 50 each?
It's like, is it 1% or 10% of the fans or something? I think it's like 3,000, isn't it? People can get down there on the buses or something.
I don't think they understood what the issue was about the cup final. The issue wasn't people can't get there. People would have found a way to get there. It's the fact that the M6 is going to be horrendous because there's going to be every single Liverpool fan, every single Man City fan, majority of them are all going to be on that same motorway at the same time. The buses things, it's a token gesture but it's not. That wasn't the issue because you know what? If we wanted to go on a bus, I could have just got on a bus. There was always going to be a bus, and the price probably would have been cheaper because the trains are fucking expensive. It's the fact that the road is going to be mental. Like our motorway systems are a joke anyway. So you're adding 40,000 Liverpool, 70,000 Liverpool fans, and 10,000 Manchester City fans on the same motorway. Easy joke. Yeah, it's just idiot. It just baffles me.
I
just play it somewhere else.
Well, yeah, and you're right, the tokenism of it all. It's just like it's like that. We've had this in a few walks of life, Chris. But we go, what's the smallest number that sounds like a big number? And they've gone, should we give them 50 buses? And they go, that sounds pathetic. 75? No, 100. Ooh, 100
3
buses.
digits in it. It's a big number.
100 buses. Wow.
It's why I use centimetres over inches.
But I realised. So I did the overlap last week, that the Gary Neville thing, and I was sat next to Sophie Rose, and this came up like about the Wembley and not being able to get down there. And I was going, oh, it's an absolute joke, it's a piss take, blah, blah, blah. And she said, can't you get an Uber? And this is a person who splits the time in her words between Las Vegas and London, so money's clearly not an issue for some people. But if you want an example of how some people think about these things, it's like that, can you not, and it's not to say Sophie Rose is a Tory, because she probably is, but there's the, like, could you not just fly? It's like, yeah, probably. But really, when it's like, £70 return on the train, or like I said, yeah, I absolutely could. But that'll be the mentality of the FA. It's like how much is a pint of milk? It's like is £100 that enough to buy yourself a pint of milk? Yeah, that'll do. They're so detached from reality. It's pathetic. It's genuinely pathetic, and it comes down to it, doesn't it? Because if they'll just go, they'll figure it out. That's why food banks exist. I'm not saying that the FA are quite as bad as that.
On other people to sort the problems out, and for the most part, Liverpool fans, mate, we got to Kiev. You know what I mean? We can get to places.
To Istanbul.
It's getting to the not the point. It's that you shouldn't have to make it so difficult in the first place for us to be able to get there. When you look at it, it's like, has there been football played on Easter weekend in the FA Cup in 40 years or something? It's a mad time to throw an FA Cup semi-final anyway. Jürgen has to take some part in this because he's fucking killing our wallets off getting to all these finals and stuff like that. He is absolutely rinsing us left, right and centre at the moment. But having to go down there, the tickets, what was it?
Yeah, happiness. Try paying for a train with happiness.
I know. What was the Carabao Cup? The cheapest ticket was like 90, I don't know, whatever. It's expensive to be able to follow your football team at the best of times. The away fans, it's not just this. The problem with this is all of this is outrage from specific incidents, where we need to look at it on the whole. 20's plenty. That it's forgotten. When was the last time someone mentioned that to you? Because they made a token gesture that wasn't good enough, but it satisfied people. At the time and stuff like that.
Virgin Media were funding a lot of that stuff at the time as well.
It's like mad things like Newcastle playing against Brighton at 12:30. Just mad things where they just don't they just do not give a fuck. And again, I think they think they're idiots. Oh well, there's no change now. We'll put on buses. That is not the problem. The problem is we are in this country where the M6 is 50 mile an hour for all of it anyway. There's one crash on that M6, and then after 40,000 people are late for the game, and they're just jam packing that, and it's the same route because we're gonna meet at the Manchester Liverpool. We're gonna meet on the same motorway, and every single person now. There's nobody on the train at all. It's just absolute bananas, and again they don't care. But the flip side is we'll be there, and that's the thing. They don't care because ultimately they know.
Well, I say this: the ground will be full. No one will notice because it'll be because to be fair, it's like how it's harder to get tickets for London aways for Liverpool because there's a big Liverpool contingent down south, and it's easier they'll hoover them up, and Liverpool will fill their allocation. Of course they will. But you're right, it's not the point, is it? And but again, it boils down to it. They don't care because as long as the tickets sell and as long as they get bodies in the seats, they don't really care who's there. And again, it goes back to that mentality of if you can't afford it, well, you can't afford it, can you? You can't afford it, go and work harder. Everyone's got the same 24 hours in the day, all that kind of shite that comes from the back of it. And because it's still seen as a pastime for a lot of people in charge, it's not an obsession where you want to be at every game. It's a point of pride to be at every game of football. Being able to say I've missed a game for X amount of years. It's like it's like the same people who don't get they're the people who buzz off or let off the Queen at 100. There's different things at different points of pride for different people. Being able to get to the football and not have it absolutely bankrupt, but the fucking FA pricks, aren't they? And they couldn't give less.
Wembley has to pay, you have to pay for Wembley because that's what.
Well, that's it. And that's the point. They fucked themselves with that, haven't they? The semi-final shouldn't be at Wembley. It's a joke. No. It's a joke. It just takes away from it.
Me and Neil Jones were talking about this on Geno Insight the other day. I think the clip might be on YouTube as well. No, I don't think that clip was actually. I think the financial fair play stuff was. But it's they weren't at Wembley. Obviously, they did go to Wembley prior to the new stadium, but then they went back to normal early 90s, I think. And you're looking at it and you're going, well, hang on a minute, I get that you've got a stadium to pay for, but you also use it for loads of other things as well. You know what I mean? Surely the semi-final at Wembley is not the peak of somebody's career. And there is an argument that says, and Neil was saying this, that the FA believe that just playing at Wembley is brilliant for somebody. No one gives a shit about playing in a semi-final and getting beat at Wembley. Mm-hmm. Not if you're a player. Jordan Henderson doesn't care where he plays a semi-final. He wants to play the final. And actually, I think you do take away from the spectacle of the final. Certainly as a fan. I remember that FA Cup semi-final against Aston Villa, mate. Yeah. That was one of the worst atmospheres I've ever been in for a game that mattered so much.
I was at Wigan.
Because we were supposed to beat them, and you're at Wembley. it takes away from the final if you get there. There's just loads of reasons, not just the fucking travel.
It's not special, is it?
No.
I was at Old Trafford in 06 for Chelsea. I was at the Wickham for 2001, Villa Park. Amazing. And I get the point. You can fit more people into Wembley, so more fans will get to go. Wembley's a bit shit anyway, I'll be honest, as a thing anyway. But like, there's Manchester City and Liverpool are from the north. Just pick a stadium in the north. Like, it's not fucking rocket science. I get it. I understand they can't use Old Trafford forever. Like, but Newcastle, Ellen Road, like, there's enough, where you're not making people trek all the way down the other end of the country. Palace versus Chelsea makes sense. Play it there, play it at Arsenal's ground. But anyway, that makes sense. It's baffling to me that you track two teams and two sets of fans down the other end of the country. I just doesn't. Well, the only logic is because they need to play for Wembley.
You know what I really don't understand, the more fans fucking arguments. I really don't understand it, because we're talking 30,000 anyway. Like, if you get a home draw, you're gonna have more fans than that in an earlier round. You know what I mean? So you're never actually going to get as many as you would at a home draw earlier on in the competition. Mm-hmm. Plus the fact that, not everyone would go to a semi-final if it was a neutral venue. Who cares? It's the 30,000 fucking corporate that they're asked about. Yeah. They're not asked about how many Liverpool fans and how many Manchester City fans. Yeah. Forget that notion.
Fill Club Wembley up.
Exactly. Well,
that's what theirs is about. They
sell those Club Wembley subscriptions as well, so you can get like a Club Wembley season ticket effectively, and they're treating that like, how do we fill our calendar with football matches? And the semi-finals probably like a nice, like, just the semi. There you go. There's 2 extra games, but that adds value for money.
60,000 corporate over the weekend.
Yeah, do it.
That's what they've done. Yeah. That's what they're asked about. Not how many fucking Liverpool fans and City fans get there at all.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
It's horseshit, isn't it? Absolute horseshit.
And also, like, there's bigger games in the Premier League. Bigger games to come in the Premier League, hopefully. Yeah. We might only have 2,000 there. You know what I mean? Like,
but the biggest game of our season, we're going to have to City have took a few off, haven't they already? So yeah, you're right, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a good point as well about the whole thing. About it's an FA Cup semi-final, and I think their logic is Wembley's special, so we want it, so more Wembley equals more special. Instead of realising it's like rarity adds value, scarcity is part of the, if there was lots of diamonds wouldn't be worth as much, that kind of shit. And and as you say, we've done that. You win a semi-final, it's great, but it's not. You can't have a let off from winning a semi-final in the same way. And I suppose there's also the bottom end of it. Maybe for some players, getting to say I played at Wembley, if you're playing for a lesser team and you're not an international football and you're not playing for the team that competes at that, like, those players, there's probably great examples of like players playing for these or lower quality teams getting to Wembley and they get to tell the kids that great story, and maybe they're considering it from that area, but they're not. They're thinking about the corporate, they're thinking about all of that.
Yeah.
Stupid.
I mean, look, if they had it at Old Trafford, is there 65,000, 70,000 now? Mm-hmm. Yeah. No corporates, 35,000 fans of each club.
I was there for the last time I went to Old Trafford, though, it wasn't
I mean, to make the joke, like, if they want to renovate Old Trafford, then a good starting place would be to put the Liverpool and the Man City fans in it for 90 minutes in an FA Cup semi-final. Absolutely. Yeah, we're going to pull all these seats out. Great. Yeah, absolutely. Just quickly before we talk about we're going to start with our running predictions, but I want to highlight the fact that we spoke to tons of legends. We got them to answer the question of how many trophies think Liverpool are going to win. We've got about 4 or 5 days before that may come completely unravelled. So yeah, check that out. That's on YouTube right now.
And as a podcast, by the way.
As a podcast as well. Thank you, Steve. Glorious stuff. Right, season running predictions. We're going to start with the FA Cup semis and the FA Cup final. I want to know what you think is going to be happening. How's the semis going to go? How's the finals?
Liverpool are going to beat Manchester City and Chelsea are going to beat Crystal Palace.
Agreed. Chelsea in another final and probably another penalty shootout.
Yeah, it feels like what's the most draining approach to the end of the season that Liverpool can go through, and if they're going to do it, it's probably going to be it's it's going to be that, isn't it?
Was it 93 when Arsenal played Sheffield Wednesday in both cup finals and beat them in both cup finals?
Yeah,
it was there or thereabouts, wasn't it? Like, in this scenario, I know Chelsea are slightly better than Sheffield Wednesday were back then, although there were no mugs back then by any means. But, like, there is something about two sides meeting. And here's the narrative that I think you might like, Paul, is all season long it's been about Liverpool and City. And actually, for the most part, it could well end up being Liverpool and Chelsea in 3 finals.
Well, there's an interest, you're right, in that there's an interesting potential story, and I don't think it will come true, this. I think City will have a good end to the season, but that you don't know you're not at the top anymore until someone overtakes you. And you're right, we've been like, oh, Chelsea, oh yeah, they won the European Cup, but it was in the weird circumstances, COVID season, all that kind of stuff. Who really cares? And apart from Chelsea fans, obviously. And the idea that City could end up trophyless, and the trophy, you're right, it could be Liverpool Chelsea played the League Cup final, Liverpool Chelsea played the FA Cup final, Liverpool Chelsea played the Champions League final, and then
Liverpool win the league.
Liverpool were to win the league, and City all of a sudden, despite being lauded as this unstoppable machine, could end up.
The flip side is it could be City Champions League finals, Chip FA Cup final.
And Paddy Vieira gets the old FA Cup win.
I would give so very, very much to have Crystal Palace in that final.
Depends who it's against.
Yeah.
If it's against us,
yeah, for us, yeah.
If City got through, give them. If City get through, then give them Chelsea. And
yeah,
Chelsea.
I like that's the one sort of small caveat, and that to predict future how we'll talk about these things is that if City beat us and Chelsea beat Palace, we'll be talking about the energy sapping of either of those as we run the potentially
the Champions League.
The thing is, what we should do is obviously after the City Liverpool game, we should all get together and go, right now, who wins tomorrow's FA Cup semi-final? If Liverpool win, we're all asking for Palace. We are.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt in that one. Okay, Sam, well, let's move on.
Because the cup final, it's the week before the end of the Premier League season, isn't it? It's like the 14th of May, I think. So it's actually the week before we would play a Premier League. So yeah, if it is City, by all means.
How does that work? Because
they'll move a game to a midweek, I guess.
How? Because we've already.
This is what happened last time. This is why City had to play Leicester in that mad midweek game because they were in the cup final. I think that's right in saying. So yeah,
I mean, that's the thing that we can't. We'll factor in, but we can't possibly factor in. Like we've still got to fit. Is it a what's our game?
No, it was United, but they threw it on that random Tuesday.
Yeah, we've moved.
Got a Villa game.
Yeah, the Villa game's been moved, hasn't it? Because that was supposed to be in the place of the FA Cup semi-final weekend.
Villa game's postponed.
Was the last round. Yeah. So like that's still got to get squeezed in somewhere. It's fucking chaos, isn't it? Yeah. Good on you, Winter World Cup.
It's the Southampton game in the middle of May. Well, the end of May, just before we play Wolves, that you'd have to move. Going to Southampton away in a midweek. Remember, we've done that before as well, and we would remember the Mo Salah top-off goal. So, but there's lots to it's how we're going to fit all these games in. I mean, talk about these footballers, we're going to be exhausted. No one's thinking about us, are they? Yeah, again, you're skinting us.
Fell on deaf ears when I explained to John Achterberg yesterday how, like, I found this quite tired and I'm not even doing any of the running round, mate. It's like,
he looked at us and said, what the f***?
Yeah, shut up, you dickhead. Just sitting in a room talking about football sounds knackered. It is. It's a living nightmare. That's fine. It's absolutely fine.
It's really cool.
Yeah, to the point. Yeah, so Liverpool are due to play Southampton on the 15th with Wolves' final game of the season being the 22nd.
If we were in the cup final, our Southampton game's got to move somewhere.
They'll probably just leave it where it fucking is.
Like the day before.
It does remember, you know what I mean? FA Cup final Saturday, Southampton Sunday. Sound lads, well done.
Double header. Double header at Wembley. We'll just move Southampton up. Yeah.
We'll put on 2 free hotel rooms in the travel for the fans. Nice one, Lids.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about the Champions League. So I've got the latest 5:38 predictions for this one. Has to make the semis. Man City are at 82%, Liverpool are at 89%. Bayern 82 and Chelsea 59, obviously, and then lesser for Real Madrid and so on and so forth. The win percentage to win the whole thing: City 29, Liverpool 26, joint with Bayern Munich.
That makes no sense to me.
It does make sense because I had this the other week with Paul when we were looking at it. Weren't we? I don't know whether we were on cam or off cam, but Man City, they deem that side of the draw is just easier. So if you look at the SPI numbers. Liverpool, Man City and Bayern Munich are all above 93, which is how good the teams are. Then there's a drop-off. So
It feels quite disrespectful to Chelsea and Real Madrid. That.
What they're saying is that Liverpool have to play Bayern, they think, in
Yeah.
the semi-final, and they believe the gap between Man City and the next best team, Chelsea, is 5 SPI points. So we've got more of a chance of getting to the semis because we're against lower opposition, but they've got a better chance of making the final. Because they've got a better chance of making the final, they've therefore got a better chance of winning the whole damn thing.
I don't know what SPI means, but
Sensational.
I don't think the gap between Chelsea and Bayern Munich and Real Madrid and Bayern Munich is that big. That's what I'm. It's all wrong. It's numbers and stuff. But I think Chelsea. I consider putting Chelsea.
What it's effectively saying as well is that, because obviously it's 0.1 of a difference between Liverpool and Bayern. They're effectively saying it's one or the other. They feel that we're both on a similar sort of level.
I think Chelsea are closer to Man City than that. That's a big gap. Chelsea are really good, really good.
Yeah, but they're also are they 10 points behind in the league, which all that type of stuff is based upon how they've done in this season's competition as well. It's based on what the team is this year. It's not based on past performances or anything like that.
Okay.
It's hard to do it because I can't quite wrap my head around the fact that we've got to get past Benfica first because it's dangerous, isn't it? That's the real sticking point on this because we're only in the quarters. Like, quarters is okay, and we should. There's no reason why Liverpool shouldn't.
They will.
Yeah, and you're probably right, but we said this before when we played Inter Milan. Like, and I know we got past Inter Milan, but there is that thing of, well, we should be beating these, but you've still got to go about the business. And to the point about Liverpool's fixtures and everything that goes around it, it's a thing that has to be done, and I'm very wary of that because there are... I mean, to the point of what's going on with Liverpool around the Benfica game, there's obviously sort of, I don't want to say bigger fish to fry, but there is. You've got the 2 Man City games, Benfica, Man City, Benfica, Man City. You're playing for... You're closer to 2, even though you're further away in games from the league. That's a bigger step towards winning the league, and you literally, you're in the you're straight in the final of the FA Cup if you win that. So,
but what I like about all of that is that Liverpool play on the Tuesday before the Sunday for the City game, and there's having that extra day to prepare is obviously a good thing, and rest and recuperating, etc., etc. But also, I think Liverpool have got a greater chance of putting that tie to bed, such that the next week, the Wednesday the 13th Benfica game, it might be a different side if you're able to get 4 or 5 goals or something like we were able to do against Porto, which means that you're actually prepared again better for the next Manchester City game.
The lack of away goals thing defo benefits stronger teams, I think, as well in that.
I'm yet to see how it really changes anything, to be honest, from the games that have happened.
Well, Real Madrid's a good example of it, in so much as Real Madrid could afford to just go to Paris and park the bus, and knowing that they felt their advantage of bringing it back to the Bernabeu would favour them, and in that regard, it means Liverpool get to choose how they want to approach the tie because they effectively don't need the away goal to the point that I think it's subtle, but I don't think you're right. It's not a significant difference.
I don't think maybe the Real Madrid game, maybe they would have played like that anyway, or maybe they wouldn't have. You know what I mean? But I remember sort of looking at it before it all started and thinking, what does it actually do to the football? Because it actually, if anything, it discourages attacking football, which is completely opposite of kind of what they've all sort of gone about. But it all came from that COVID one, didn't it? Where they all threw them in whatever country it was. And it was really, really exciting. And those games just happened to be really exciting games between teams that were really well matched.
We've done this. We've done the extra time as well.
Yeah, we've done this with content over the years, and you think the content that you make at the business end of the season will work at the start of the season, and it doesn't, because it's very hard to generate excitement for games that don't really matter. So you're right, they fell foul of isn't this wonderful, a straight knockout, and look at the excitement and drama. To be fair, the semis are exciting. Think about Ajax and Tottenham, and think about us and Barcelona, and there'll be countless examples of that down the years as well. Liverpool, Chelsea, all the way back in 2005 or whatever. If anything, as I say, it kind of discourages. There's less impetus on the away team in the first leg to do anything. Yeah. To go and commit for the extra value of getting the away goals.
Yeah, because Real Madrid got beat 1-0. Now if PSG score at the Bernabeu, Real Madrid need 3. Now it turns out that kind of is what goes on. But you know what I mean? Like getting beat 1-0 away from home in the first leg now isn't a bad result because you just know you need to win a game at home, and at worst case you get an extra time.
Yeah, it definitely benefit again. Because what I mean by that is Jurgen Klopp. If it depends how he wants to play the game, and I can't see he's going to do anything other than really play it how we play it. We'll go toe-to-toe and we'll try and beat them, of course. But if he wanted to conserve energy, he can do that for 60 minutes and say, well, it's 0-0. I'll change a bunch of players, knowing that 0-0 is a pretty decent result because I'd bank on us just to beat Benfica, and there's no sting in the tail a la Atletico a couple of years ago where the away goal blows your plan. I mean, again, Inter Milan last time out. That's a different complexion to that game if that's an away goal.
One more and you're out rather than one more as extra time.
Exactly. But yeah, I think it benefits us in that regard. I think we'll go flat out because we're coming back from an international break, and I think he will just look to blow this away a little bit.
You want to smoke them in that first leg, then he gets Tuesday, Sunday for City, and then effectively you make your next, because the turnaround the week after is Wednesday, Saturday, and we got a mini advantage there because we're at home. And I think City have to go in between the two games against us. They have to go to Madrid.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
So again, that's another one that might be an advantage to you. I mean, that's going to be a horrible game for them. So I'm with you. I think he'll go strong against Watford. Obviously, he'll go strong against Benfica there because he's got a big gap then to do it. And like I say, the ideal situation there is you just absolutely blitz them.
We had a couple of super chats relating to this. Andy App says, I think both Liverpool and City will win one each. One will win league game and the other will win the FA Cup semi. Hopefully I'm wrong and we win both. Yeah, hopefully. And Harry Lewis says, quads on, lads. That's all I got to say on this matter. Well, it is until it isn't. And the same as anything. We've been here plenty of times. Not here, not this late in the season before, but every time Liverpool have a good season, we find a way to make it more disappointing for ourselves. You know, whether it's talking about going invincible. Arsenal fans still go to us like, you didn't go invincible, did you? And Watford, we stopped you going invincible.
Lads, we just won the league, mate.
The league,
and it's our first Premier League title.
Yeah.
It was lovely.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. It really wouldn't have mattered how we did it.
But we can't help it. Like, it's always that thing of like
dream big. Just always dream big.
Yeah. Dream big, but
don't be gutted if it doesn't happen. But dream big, yeah, man.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. We'll move on to the top four. We had a good old chat about this.
Sorry, can we go back? Can I very, very quickly? What's your Champions League final?
I think it is going to be Liverpool. It's either going to be Bayern or Liverpool versus Man City.
You think City are getting there?
I do. I think honestly, I think City are winning the Champions League this year, and I can't be convinced. But I've just got this horrible.
Yeah, I don't think they make the final.
Liverpool
make the final.
I think it's Real Madrid make the final.
What?
Liverpool versus Real Madrid. Repeat.
That don't get me wrong. That is like my dream final because of just the
arc of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Liverpool, Real Madrid,
is tremendous.
And Mohamed Salah wins Liverpool the Champions League against Real Madrid.
Yeah,
that's what it's written.
Sergio Ramos in the crowd because he's obviously got nothing else to do because he's injured again, crying,
suspended and injured.
No, I'd love that, but I just City. If City don't win the Champions League this season, I just don't think they ever will.
Good.
Yeah. But I look at it from. We always look at it from the Liverpool.
They lost and then they go again.
Yeah, I think that experience they'll just go one further this time. But I desperately hope I'm wrong. But I said this back in December when into January.
You said we'll win the league.
I said this is the flip reverse of 18-19. Whereas we will be the ones coming from the points deficit to win the league. But they will go and win the Champions League, and that's going to be interesting if that happens. How we would take that, and what I like the fact is, if like I had Steve McInerney was saying this the other day about like having the last word on the season by winning the Champions League, it'd be great. I just genuinely we would just be Liverpool's party would still be going on. I think that like the attention would not. I just don't think it would get the attention City winning the Champions League in the same way unless they beat. I don't want to lose a final to Man City, so I'd here's a question: if you know Man City are gonna win it,
lose against Benfica. Just lose against Benfica.
Oh wow!
Shake the legs. What's the full point? What's the point of getting round the Allianz for 2 extra games? Yeah, man. But no, I think we are going to win the Champions League and the Premier League. It's the FA Cup I'm not convinced about. But
I'm not asked for the.
That was spoiled away, by the way.
I'm not doubting Liverpool.
No, why would you?
I'm not doubting them at all.
Never do.
Why have they given you this belief that you can doubt them?
No,
Where's that come from?
We are believers.
You know what I mean?
No, I'm just playing it. I don't think you can play Man City 4 times and not lose once.
Not thinking Liverpool are going to win thinking Liverpool are not going to win a quadruple is not doubting Liverpool Football Club.
It is now.
It's.
It wasn't at the beginning of the season. It is now.
Yeah. No, I don't think we're close enough for that yet. Anyway, there's no point into because it's not. We're too many rounds away from it. It's fucking stupid. No. You know, it's a fun.
It's your fucking segment.
It's a fun conversation. But it's what I'm saying is that to that point.
Liverpool beat Benfica. Liverpool beat Bayern Munich. Liverpool are in the final. I'm backing them all the way to win the Champions
League.
To win that final.
Yeah.
Liverpool play Man City in the FA Cup semi-final. I'm backing them to win it.
And then you're backing them to beat Chelsea or Palace.
And then I'm backing them to beat whoever they play in the final because that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's the way it works. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For me, I'm looking at it going, Chelsea are going to beat Real Madrid, although I think it's really close because Real have really sort of turned that around a little bit at the moment.
Other than the last game.
Yeah, obviously. Man City are going to lose to Atletico, and Chelsea...
You're convinced about that, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm convinced about it. And then Chelsea beat Atletico, and it's Liverpool-Chelsea again. I guess it's going to be Liverpool-Chelsea.
The way the draws in all the cups have gone for us this season, you're right in that regard. We should not be shocked if we end up against Real Madrid and Crystal Palace in the final.
And you're backing Liverpool to beat both of them.
Yeah. So, in that regard, yeah. It's too much.
Don't doubt it.
It's a long goal.
Don't doubt it. I remember the video of me fucking going off in December about how everyone's given up on the league. You know what I mean?
Mr. Page.
Top 4. Arsenal in the box seat at the minute. Yeah. They've got a game in hand still over Tottenham. Arsenal on 54 points. Arsenal on 51. Arsenal have got to play everyone
and Tottenham
who wants to who are looking to steal that place off them. I think Arsenal we did a good show on this on the Round the League 2 weeks ago now. Arsenal, I think, are the most settled and best quality outfit of them, Spurs, United and West Ham.
Yeah, I disagree.
West Ham have got us equally settled, but I don't think Moyes is as good a manager. And exactly. And I don't think they've quite got the quality. Tottenham have got the best manager.
And the best players.
And the best... I think it's a toss-up between them and United.
I think they've got the better difference makers.
Kane, Son, Romero... Kulusevski's name I can't really say.
You've said it, well done.
The midfielder whose name Tottenham have got the best squad and the best manager, so I'm backing Tottenham.
I think Tottenham will do it. What do you reckon, Chris?
Arsenal.
Yeah.
I think they're just more settled, to be honest with you. They found a little bit of a groove. I think, do you know, there are different sort of sides when you get in that 4th to 8th sort of position, aren't there? There was remember about 6-7 years ago when Liverpool maybe a little bit further back, you have the ability to beat the big teams, but you lose to the sort of lesser ones. Arsenal is sort of the opposite of that, which they're absolutely comfortable beating everyone who's shitter than them. Yeah. They just can't beat the teams who are better than them. And I think they're just better than Tottenham and Manchester United right now.
Can I interest you in a little look at Arsenal's upcoming fixture list?
You can.
Next game, Crystal Palace away.
Win.
Brighton at home.
Win.
Definite win.
Southampton away.
Definite win.
Chelsea away.
Lose.
United at home.
Win.
West Ham away.
Win. They'll be really fucked by them, West Ham.
Leeds away. Leeds at home, sorry. Leeds at home.
Win.
Newcastle away.
Definite win.
Everton at home.
To relegate Everton.
100%
and they've got
win.
Tottenham.
They've got to get the game at Tottenham.
At Tottenham, in there somewhere.
Draw it.
Yeah.
You've got Arsenal coming second, I think. Arsenal winning the Champions League.
Arsenal's points per game is like 3.5 here. I don't know how that's happened.
The thing is, you probably need that. What are we looking at? You probably need 6 wins because they're all lose and draw games.
I think Tottenham are good.
6 wins out of 9 or 10 games.
Yeah, I think that might be enough.
Yeah,
and they've got form for that, as we said. We said this when we were coming up to them. They're very good at putting five-ish down, draw, lose, spring back up, win a few.
I just wouldn't be shocked if Man United beat them.
It depends where they put that Tottenham game, because to play Chelsea, United, and West Ham in the space of, I mean, it's a little longer. That's the 20th, the 23rd, and then the 1st of May. So there's a little gap. They might squeeze Tottenham in between the United game and the West Ham game. So then they're playing Chelsea, Arsenal, Chelsea, United, Tottenham, West Ham. Like, if you come through that, then they will.
Piss every day. I don't think the squad's that good. If I'm honest, I don't think they got. I think they are getting by. They are a very good young team, and they're getting by. They've got a really effective style of play, but I'm still of a belief like big game players matter a bit, and I just think Tottenham have got more of them and a bigger game manager. And I think Arteta's a good manager.
Arsenal don't have any big game players.
They haven't got Harry Kane. They haven't got Son.
It depends if it boils down to. And it might not boil down to this because United are just a shit show and Spurs are just a bit erratic up and down, aren't they? If it does come to a shootout style situation, it wouldn't shock me if Arsenal fell short because they're playing against the team. They're battering the door down for 90 minutes last game of the season, and they don't have that guy who will just stick the ball on the back of the net. Whereas in Kane and Ronaldo, and even Cavani to some extent, Fernandes, Son,
that's where it comes down to. It's because I agree with you. I think the players that Spurs got, I said before, they've got the best difference makers, but I also think Arsenal play the best football.
Yeah,
and they've got the best system, and that's where you come down to it. Like people used to aim that at us. About they're all system players, which is great. Now we're system players with world-class fucking stars at the same time. That's how you become a great side.
Tottenham must be kicking themselves about that Man United. That fucking Ronaldo at it. Ronaldo turned up for a game and they must be kicked because that was Tottenham were better than Man United for the majority of that game, and again they shit the bed a bit.
For what it's worth, on the 538 stuff, Arsenal is 67% to qualify for the Champions League. Tottenham 25 and United at 8. West Ham are less than 1%. So,
West Ham are good.
Yeah, they are.
If they're going to get in it, they'll have to win the Europa League.
Actually, on that, I just quick look at the Europa League stuff for what it's worth. West Ham are 8% to win the Europa League. Barcelona, obviously favourites in that at 38%. Pretty cool. I kind of, for me, West Ham fan mates, the West Ham Fan TV boys, I just want them to play Barcelona in that semi-final and see what that looks like. But that'd be a hell of a ride. Right, Sam, relegation, just briefly, are they ever getting relegated?
Probably.
No.
The
game's in hand?
Yeah, no. As I've said for a few weeks, the others are just more shit.
I hope, there's something about Sean Dyche's teams where I always think they're going to go on a run, and then you look at all the stats about them,
City
and they're
like
dog shit.
Haven't Burnley, got City and then Everton or something as well.
They do play each other, don't they?
But then Burnley have got, they'll probably lose against City, but then they get to play Norwich. And then you get to get Everton, Norwich. Everton, Norwich.
That's the game. That's, it's not that far away. It's a
Wednesday night as well at Turf Moor.
That's when that's
Dyche's look. That's why I don't think they were
more going make or break Everton's spirit, because you go away to Burnley and lose that.
It's a 6 pointer pull.
It's why you said before about Burnley getting something off City. I don't think they will, because I think they're exiting that Everton game basket.
They're just weirdos though, aren't they? That Vegas, if he's fit, he's just like he's just got a chance.
Yeah. I was nodding a lot. Yeah, definitely, mate.
But like that's the thing about Burnley, you just don't know. But he's just that giant up front.
I just think
crop up with something
50
stupid.
shots against City.
There's always one who gets out of it, and is it going to be Hodgson or is it going to be Dyche? Because if any of those two can fucking pull the fingers out, they've got half a chance. The Leeds winning back-to-back games has done Everton no favours as well. But that Newcastle game the other day was a big, well, it was huge for Everton. Like injury time goal after the fella chained himself to the post.
Burnley have only scored 22 goals this season.
Yeah, because they're shit.
Is that like a club record as well?
Genuinely.
As in, that's the most they've ever scored in a season at this thing.
Norwich scored 18.
Norwich have scored 18 goals.
Yeah, they're not good at the football, are they?
Like,
that's their issue.
Well, Norwich, like, to Burnley's credit, they've only conceded 38, which puts them as like, that's one of the best defensive records in the Premier League. That's top half, comfortably top half defensive.
Better than West Ham, better than United, same as Chelsea. No, sorry, I'm looking at goal score. So yeah, they've only conceded 22.
Burnley have only conceded 38.
30, yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they've got like less than less than Man United, less than West Ham.
It's the defence that's the defence is the reason why they're not dead. Why they're not totally dead and buried to the point.
And the defence is the reason why
63 goals this season. Leeds have conceded 67 goals.
Norwich's goal difference is minus 45. That's actually quite impressive, isn't it?
It's more than a goal a game.
But people forget this sometimes, and we get lost in this a bit about how football's about finding things to celebrate, and like you don't realise this sometimes, but like. Goals, the let off from scoring a goal is a thing. That's endorphins. That's like makes you remember. You don't really celebrate the full time whistle, but that's one thing. You might have a chance to celebrate multiple times. Like Norwich have won.
I'm laughing that Norwich's goal difference is minus 45. If you took Liverpool's 75 goals for off, ours would only be minus 20.
Yeah.
If we hadn't scored a goal in the entire competition, we should have a better goal difference than them.
Yeah.
but not twice as good.
But Norwich,
more than twice as good. As
Norwich have
We'd have more points of them as well, probably.
We'd have loads of
draws. Yeah.
We actually probably would. Someone needs to work that out, whether we'd have more 0-0 draws and be higher up the table than Norwich if you took every goal against us. We scored off us.
Yeah. Norwich have won 4 games all season.
Please work it out for me and let me know.
And scored 18 goals, which basically equates to they've only had roughly 22 things to celebrate all season long. In the, like 22 times you've gone, hey!
Like, remember one of those goals is in the last minute against Leeds, and then they still lost as well. Like they couldn't even get themselves a last minute equaliser. Bless them.
I can't. If Everton lose to Burnley, I think they'll conspire to collapse, and it depends what Hodge does.
Can we go back to your shutting the toilet analogy?
Question on Everton. If they lose to Burnley, does Lampard keep his job?
Yeah, I don't think they'll tackle now. I don't think there's... What are they going to do? Who's there? Big Sam.
Sam Allardyce.
Big Dunk?
No. I mean, that's like
Big
the
Nev.
captain goes, I'm going down. The captain goes, I don't want to go down with the ship, and the vice captain goes, I'll go down with it. Like, Dunk, Jesus Christ, yeah, we know, top blue, mate.
Yeah, buy them all a bevy before the game, and then watch them get beat 6-0.
Hey lads, handing out the cyanide capsules.
I just feel like
they'll never take us alive.
I just feel like it's the perfect fucking opportunity for Calvert-Lewin to become player manager for a few games. Like Everton could do that, couldn't they? They could go player manager for the end of the season. That's what
Super blue Richarlison, mate. He loves it, doesn't he? He's desperate for it. He's desperate to be miserable for the rest of his life.
Seamus Coleman doing doggies down the lane.
The world's saddest pigeon. Like,
What's Davey Weir doing?
God no,
Richard
Goff. He's probably about 85 at this point. He was 40 when he was playing for them.
40, yeah.
Roll Dave Unsworth out again.
Oh God,
big
no, but I was I think it was Indy was piling on, wasn't he? Saying like big Sam's in consideration. There's Everton board members who want to sack Lampard and all this. Like, don't get me wrong.
Would you, if you were in charge of Everton and you were an Everton fan? Rather than like you just want them to go down. All right.
I'll just hire Rafa.
Neutral, right. Would you sack Lampard if they got beat by Burnley by 3 goals to 0?
I would be passive aggressively sat in the board meetings harumphing and saying we should have got Allardyce instead of getting this cunt, because they clearly thought they could play their way out of this instead of going but they fucked it because they've had Allardyce before, and they've got, well, we can't have Allardyce back because the fans will spray paint shut on the side of the stadium again, instead of realising we just need to survive. But they've not. I don't think they've recognised they're in a relegation fight. It's mad.
So you got beat by Burnley. You've got Everton and Leicester as your next 2 games on the horizon. And you're okay with...
So, sorry, because if say they lose to West Ham at the weekend, then they get beat by Burnley. The next game is United, and then they play Leicester.
Yeah.
Am I okay? No, Lampard...
Sorry, interject, I think Si's worked it out for us. We've had 17 clean sheets this season. If we hadn't scored a goal, we'd be level with Norwich, but 25 ahead on goal difference. Can we clip this and send this to Talk Norwich?
I'm going to throw a spanner in the works. Norwich...
As slowly as possible.
Well, Norwich
scored against us, so would they have then beaten us in both of those
head to head?
I don't go too into it. It's funny the other way.
Either way, that's how shit Norwich are.
Yeah.
Well done, Steve. Really killed the mood there.
I'm being factual. Get your shit. It's YouTube. You've got to be accurate.
It's the internet.
Exactly.
No,
Everything.
you don't.
Everything on the
As
internet.
long as you say it loud and with conviction, it's basically
Same as
truth.
politics, basically. YouTube.
Yeah, bollocks.
Anyway, back to you. They should never have hired Lampard. So yes,
But do you sack him?
if they lose to
They won't sack
if they lose
him
West Ham
because
and Burnley,
they're
no, I don't think.
stupid.
Yeah, no, I don't think I would, because there's no one there who I can get
I'd sack him.
for who. And then
I don't care.
okay,
They've what got 12? Is it 12? No, 8.
He won
11
his last-
games
he won his
left
last
of the
game.
season?
just
But then in this scenario, he's just lost to West Ham, he's just lost to Burnley, you've got United and Leicester on the horizon. I'd sack him because something needs to change.
get Duncan in charge.
all well
Get
and good.
Goodison rocking for the United
You're
game.
more than welcome to keep the wrong man for as long as you want, but he's the wrong man.
Well, if the notion, to go back to the old school notion of 40 points equals safety, like they're 15 points away from that with 33 to play for. Like,
And that needs to be adjusted because, you know...
Because us and City are so good.
Yeah.
It becomes
Well,
it's
because
more like
the top 6 are miles better than them.
33 might keep you up.
yeah. But I just thought it was an hilarious point that if we're going on any pre-understandings of Everton are so far away from what is traditionally safety, it's a good example of how shit everyone else is below them as well. But yeah, how detached, how bad
Mate,
all that ball off of the Premier League.
9th are still 4 points off safety.
Yeah. Mad, isn't it? Traditional.
Crazy.
Oh yeah, Villa on 36.
I think. Well, obviously Norwich are
There's
down.
your gulf. There's your gulf in fucking teams that get money in every season from European competition and teams who don't.
Yeah, the gap from 9th to 8th.
It's the games in hand are so misleading, aren't they? Because you think Watford are in with a slightly better shout, but the again, you'd rather have points than not have points, I guess, at this point.
You're back at Everton. Everton's 2 games in hand. One is Watford, I think. You've got to play Watford. Obviously, you've got to play it's Palace, because that's been postponed already. So they've got a massive backlog of fixtures already to come. So yeah, they are. I think they're going down, mate. I do. I think they're going. I think Burnley or Watford. I'm trusting either Hodgson or Dyche. Going back to your percentages, little thing from before, if there was getting out of relegation weightedness, Hodgson and Dyche would be right at the top, giving them half a chance.
The easiest way to work out what's going to happen is what's the most Everton thing.
They are 6 points out of the relegation zone with 2 games to play.
And go down on goal difference.
Because
they let in a 97th minute. They get beat 7-0 and the 7th goal gets them down or something like.
So, yeah, Everton now play West Ham away, Burnley away, United at home. They've got to fit Palace at home in somewhere. They've got Leicester at home, us away, Chelsea at home, Leicester away, Brentford at home, Arsenal away, last game of the season.
3 points
across the whole thing.
Yeah, Brentford.
I think they get 4 points out of that.
Brentford's the only one where you'd say they'll definitely do that because Brentford will be there.
And Leicester are shit, you know.
Leicester are shit, but yeah, and their season will be done by that point as well, potentially. And then that's what they play them twice, don't they? So there's potentially 6 points, 9 points.
Man United's a crap as well, by the way, just to throw that out there.
But
tough to beat though.
Yeah,
I think they're going down. I really do.
Yeah. I've got to. Yeah.
I think
the most Everton thing is they get relegated and Liverpool win the quadruple.
I think that's exactly.
Oh yeah.
I think that's what we're on for.
And just in my scenario, Everton get 3 points, but Burnley and Watford don't. Because they're just small shit.
Yeah. That's it. Hodgson getting relegated finally, and Burnley finally going down as well is how this story should end. But Everton, it's mental that they're in that position. How have they been so badly managed into that?
Don't think Leeds. I don't think Leeds are completely out of it either. Because they've played a lot of games, but 2 back-to-back wins probably just about saves them.
And they've got probably a slightly better manager as well. Like,
fucking knows.
Possibly, yeah, we'll see. I think that, you know what I think it boils down to, the raging against the dying of the light. To go a bit poetic on it, I think particularly if Everton lose Burnley, but I think there's a sickness in their fan base that thinks that it's sort of fated. They're so downbeaten, downtrodden that they won't fight against it because they'll think it's inevitable. because I think they've had too many years of being on the receiving end of shit. Leeds have been down for too long. Their fans will literally get on the pitch and save balls from going across the line if they have to. Burnley might have a touch of that. Watford, there might be an acceptance because they've been up and down a lot and they'll just think we'll come back up again, maybe. But they also might think, oh, we don't want to go down there. I just think of all the fan bases who will be accepting of relegation, I think there's a chance Everton's might let it slip.
If we offered Everton fans a red and a blue pill, and the red was to stay up and the blue was to go down.
So you have to drive in a red. You have to drive in a red car to a red shop and eat the red pill. And if that's the case, you can stay up.
They'd take the
blue pill.
There is a proportion of Evertonians who would not even be able to touch it. Like
Can I stuck it off the table?
All right, tell, just knock us out and stick it in there. They'd have to take it as
Shut up your ass like a supporter.
They'd have to take it as an enemy. They couldn't see it happening, like, you know what I mean? Jesus Christ. Oh my God, yeah, no, that'd be hilarious. Right, Sam, we're going to take a very short break. We'll talk very briefly about Watford before we wrap up. We have got a new show coming up on Redmen Plus, streaming from this evening. Steve spoke to Liverpool legend Phil Thompson about the boot room. So if you want to get educated about that and get a boot room story, here's a little clip from that.
Bill was very clear in what he was, and he had a wonderful accent, you know, kind of build us up to be a bastion of invincibility. And he could make you feel hairs on the back of your neck stood up. Bob wasn't like that. But what Shanks knew and understood about the game, Bob knew as well, but Bob couldn't converse in the same way, couldn't communicate in the same way, but he knew the game inside out. And at times, because he didn't do as much coaching, because he wasn't like that, but Joe and Ronnie knew exactly what Bob wanted. He knew exactly, Bob knew the type of players that he requested. You know, going from his first signings, the likes of Phil Neal and everything, Alan Kennedy, Terry McDermott coming in, he was left Ray Kennedy, but turned Ray Kennedy in from a forward, a centre forward to a left midfield. So what you had happened there, Ray is now facing the goal rather than Ray wasn't particularly devastatingly quick, but it was all up here with Ray. So to move him to left midfield, you were getting goals, but you were getting creativity as well. Now to do that was a piece of genius. Now that would have taken place in the boot room. It wouldn't have just been Bob. It had been Joe and Ronnie. What do you think? How are we going to do this? And some of the signings, the way they worked, you know, obviously Kenny Dalglish, and then Graham Souness come along, Alan Hansen. It was sensational.
Hey, well done, Steve. Photo finish. Steve gets back from the bog just in time. Right, we're going to be
didn't even get to wash my hands.
Oh, thanks, mate.
Yes, we're going to be doing a podcast extra straight after this over on Redmen Plus. We're going to be taking some of the slightly more X-rated questions that you guys send in for us, and inevitably chatting about the Will Smith, Chris Rock stuff, because it's quite funny / dead serious, depending on how you want to talk about it. And you know, it's current events for the next yesterday.
There's some sort of algorithm that helps us out there, isn't it?
Yeah, why not? So yeah, anyway, Boot Room Stories streaming on Redmen Plus. We've also got a whole host of amazing content coming up off the back of Legends Day and Legends Weekend and all that good stuff, so keep your eyes peeled. If you've seen the photos doing the round of the Mo Salah mural that's going up on Anfield Road, the only place to watch the behind-the-scenes documentary of that creation will be on Redmen, so yeah, keep your eyes peeled. Right, Watford. I really, part of me thought, like, get to the international break, Chris, and then it all matters and it's all meaningful. And then I was like, oh no, we've got Watford, and like we've still got to do a build-up show on this, by the way. But that is the last game that Liverpool have just got to get through before basically every game matters. Now, of course, it matters because if you lose, you've made
It's
the league a
hard.
bit
I
of
think it's a hard
moot
game,
point.
12:30 kickoffs. You know, Jürgen doesn't like them, does he? He likes them all to be sort of late so he can move the training accordingly and all that type of stuff.
Particularly
after international break, it makes it even harder, doesn't it? You know, when players are able to get back and all that type of stuff, how many days training they're able to put into it. You know, Steve said before, you know, I think you think he puts a really strong side. I don't think he will. I think it'll be strong, but not the strongest side that you can put out, because I think he's gonna have to have an eye on the next 4 fixtures after that.
He's gonna have to see who's available.
Difficult. Yeah, of course.
And who's been there as well. He tends to preface the lads who've been training. So whoever, I think they come back today. The ones who haven't played.
But if Milner's been there and he's been available, then I expect Milner to probably start the game. Whether Trent's back in training or not, I don't know where we're up to on that type of thing. But for me personally, feels like we've played a lot of away games. I am absolutely buzzing to get back into Anfield now.
Yeah,
absolutely buzzing.
This is it. You know, hopefully the weather's. You know, we've turned the corner with the weather and all that kind of stuff, and it becomes less of a chore, right? The early kickoffs are an absolutely fine thing in that regard. Doesn't necessarily favour Liverpool again because the internationals.
But it's been able to put pressure on City. Yeah. That's the opportunity here, isn't it? As well.
Yeah,
you know, being ahead of them in the table, it's a big thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, listen, I've referenced before about Everton. One of the reasons they might not go down is because we should snot Watford. That's why I've kind of got my eye on Burnley rather than Watford this time. Yeah, listen, we played them last time. We were like, early kick-off at their ground. And I understand it was a new manager, wasn't it? Ranieri had just got dick 5-0. We were miles better than them. Like, we are miles better than them. Like, we should. But Hodgson's had 2 weeks now to focus on nothing. But how do I get a point at Anfield? That's all. I don't know if that's 2 weeks amongst his other interests in life. Like,
hang on. Same game as last time.
4-4-2.
Defend resolutely. Be good at set pieces. Throw the kitchen sink out if it's close in the last 5 minutes. Go. There you go. Done it for you, right?
2 weeks. He did not.
Have another week off. There you go.
Maybe. Yeah. Listen. Yeah. You say it's another game to get through. That's what they're all going to be like. Now, again, Chris said this before. I just don't doubt Liverpool. If someone surprises us along the way, then it will be that. It will be a huge shock surprise. Like, we just backed them to get the job done. And it might not be, Liverpool might not be at their free-flowing best against Watford. The flip side, they might just turn them and just snot them off the park because they're well better than them. Like, you know,
I would, to be fair, you know, we talk a lot about that last run we've just gone through of like just win. This is that, but I actually think otherly it would be I think Liverpool should go out and try and do what we did at the start of the season, of be ruthless. Don't do the whole 60 minutes and then take your foot off and then make a heavy
goal
changes.
difference could count.
Yeah, exactly. But I also just think in terms of laying a marker down, it's going to become a grind. You know, in a month's time, Liverpool are going to be running on fumes and everyone's going to be dragging themselves through this, you know, pulling people up wounded on the battlefield and still pressing towards the end. This is a good chance to lay a bit of a marker down and send a message. So I hope, I mean, it's always the game plan, I think, to win, you know, win comfortably. But I think this is one of them where I'd be going, go on, kill them. You know, 10 minutes to go, fuck it. Don't rest in possession. Don't take minutes out of the game. Really go and make an example of them to anyone else, because there's going to be a couple of those games, I think, where some teams might think, oh, well, have a good go at Liverpool. No, I want anyone who knows to remind people they're not in Liverpool's weight class. This is what we'll do to you. If you come and piss us off, we're going to come and fucking batter you. Let the Premier League.
I love that. I love watching that, but the sports science says you don't do that.
Because they play Benfica on Tuesday.
Yeah, you've got to. And, you know, when you think about, you know, sprint takes more out of you than anything else. If you go hard for an entire game and you're sprinting more, you're just taking more out of the legs for later on down the line, isn't it? So, you know, unfortunately, that Liverpool side's the best Liverpool side to watch when they've got, you know, they're constantly moving forwards and slashing and cutting and everything else.
City might get that on the 10th.
It's just not the clever way to do it. If you want to compete for 4 trophies, or you want to win 4 trophies, you should say, I think you've got to have an air of control about your game.
Yeah. What we need, mate, is just, like, I've got a build-up show to go through all this, but it's essentially...
It depends what the 11 is, though, but on this point.
That's true.
Of, like, Because you're right, because who's available? You know, is Mo? Are they going to risk Mo straight back after this one? Are they going to risk that? To the point. But you might find it's a team where you get to go
for it because you're not
going to be playing against Benfica, and you probably not, and some of them won't be playing on the weekend afterwards, and so on and so forth. But yeah, we'll do more on the build-up show this week. When Thursday we're doing that? Thursday, sweet. Any other business? One thing I just want to draw people's attention from next week. We've been doing the extra show over on Redmen Plus, which is a continuation of the podcast, a bit more X-rated, so we wouldn't really put for public consumption out. If you want that, great. But also, I was introduced to a podcast called the Back Page Pod by my cousin, which is a games podcast of like former and current magazine writers for games companies, and they did a draft, an N64 mini draft, and I just really liked it as a concept. So from next week, Extra's gonna have a different format where
can we do the N64 game one?
We're gonna pit Steve against Chris. First episode is gonna be Liverpool's rest of the world players. So not non-Europeans, non-UK, and UK and Irish, and they've both got to pick 2 11s. Can't pick the same players twice, so that's going to start from next week.
Okay.
So if you want to get involved.
So if it starts next week,
we need to determine the rules actually on this.
Well, look, can we start off with whoever wins this week's Who Knows Wins gets first pick?
Yeah.
Yes. Nice.
Yeah.
Very fair. What if it's equal? Flip a coin.
I get it.
Go,
I finished top this week.
On there. Count that alphabetical.
Wait, finished top. Sorry.
Yeah.
Chris Paul's rank here, son.
We'll flip a coin if it's level on this week. So, and I just wanted to, we're going to sort this out, but we need to have a brief conversation, which we won't do on this podcast. But like, I want to make sure that you guys are setting the parameters on this one, because
we'll self-police, don't you worry.
Yeah. So that we don't have like you pulling a player out on the day, and then there's lots of like maps being pulled out, and EU regulations and what have you.
Where's Joel Matip?
I'm not pulling a map out because there's a real big chance that I pinch zoom it.
Tries to drop a pin into it, literally. I want to see the street view on this one.
Gets like a yellow jelly baby out and puts it on and expects it to turn into a map.
Outstanding. Yeah, wicked. Boss, yeah. I want to talk. We got a couple of stories I want to bring up. I want to tell people all about how Steve nearly died on the way to the office this morning, but we'll do that over on Extra because
spoilers. He didn't.
I mean, obviously, yeah. Did he die? Tune in to find out. No, you want to find out how he nearly died, and then just got really, really angry. Yeah. Come and check out Podcast Extra. We've got some great questions coming up. Whether we're Team Will Smith or Team Chris Rock, if you could slap any celebrity, who would it be? You find your missus making expletive with a Premier League player. What player would you be okay with, and what player would disappoint you the most? And a whole host more. So come over to redmenplus.com, sign up, and you'll get access to Brit Room stories. You get the Accrue story documentary, brilliant, and a wide array of incredible Liverpool content and bonus Redmen shows as well. We've also got a live show coming up, which we're going to be announcing the details of. First and foremost, to our Club Legend subscribers will know about it. Club captains are going to know a little bit more in tomorrow, or the day after tomorrow.
Thursday.
And then general information will follow after that. So yeah, keep your eyes and eels peeled to the socials for that.
Chicken.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for watching and for listening. I'm Paul Machin. That's Chris Pajak.
Thank you, Shank.
Big fan of the Shank. We'll be back with another Redmen podcast next week. Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want even more Redmen TV content in your lives, both in video and podcast formats, do check out our subscription service, Redmen Plus, over on the redmentv.com. And Ross, why should these good people sign up to Redmen Plus?
You should do that right now, because you'll get access to exclusive documentaries, interviews, and all our pre- and post-match content. Plus, for the business end of the season, there's 2 games a week for most weeks, so you get even more for your money.
Head on over to the redmentv.com and sign up to Redmen Plus.